fucking right, mate. We made HasanAbi illegal. That's right. This motherfucker can't come on Tuesdays no more. He can't come by on a Tuesday. Right? The fuck, bro? Can you believe it? They fucking banned Hassan and Jake from the UK. Literally. What is going on? The fucking liberals, mate. Those fucking cockney motherfuckers. Yeah, what the fuck is going on over there? Across the pond, mate. What the fuck is happening? Seriously. You guys are fucking demented. I'm gonna say there's only one difference now between America and the UK, or their ilk. Freedom of speech laws. You can say whatever the fuck you want here still. So they say. But that's changing, as we're talking about. As you can see. Da, da, da. I gotta turn that down just a little bit. Yeah, I don't know, chat. Not gonna lie. Kinda glad I'm not a popular leftist streamer right now. I mean... I don't want my visa revoked. Probably doesn't matter, though. It really doesn't. For the video you're looking at, the only telephones were dial-up, rotary phones. Push-button phones didn't even exist right here. Japan was making all the electronics. They were super expensive. The coolest thing was stereos. Those were sick. From Japan. And any Japanese car. The rest of the cars, the American cars in the 80s, sucked. That's right. We're gonna go on a mission. We're gonna try to fly to Tau Ceti Prime. And we're gonna do that in no man's sky. That's right. We gotta find Tau Ceti Prime. And this kind of music did not exist in the 80s. Fuck, I wish it did. Oh my god. It was years till I heard real good music like that, chat. Anyway, welcome in. Usual for a Monday, except that both of the people that got me to stream, Cenk and Hassan, have both been banned from UK. Literally, Cenk was going to leave yesterday to go to South by Southwest. What did South by Southwest say? Nothing. They didn't give a fuck. Yeah. This is how they're going to do guys and people like us. Leftists, watch out. Don't Fed post. Like, I'm for real right now. FBI van, look out. If you see the FBI van Wi-Fi nearby, you know you're in trouble. They have to name it FBI Wi-Fi ban. It's a legal precedent. That's right. Fuck. All right, chat. Let me pull up this playlist. Anyway, it's crazy times right now. Netanyahu's running around, basically sabotaging every single fucking peace plan we have because Trump wants out. He's getting bored. Netanyahu's like, nope. And then this girl comes in. Yep. She's like, what is that? What is that? I can't get the audio to work. I don't know what's going on with my fucking OBS, bitches. I think I just have a muy problemo. See? It's a muy problemo. All right, let's go. Oh, wrong video, wrong time. Okay, we got the playlist. Dun, 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 dun. Well, they haven't revoked my Queen's visa yet, so hopefully my Queen can stick around. I'm trying to make it look good like this, but it doesn't work. Does it? Let's try it out.
From New York, this is Democracy Now!
There's a certain amount of editing you have to do in order to be considered fair use. Hence, all the front graphics.
We all need to do everything we can.
I mean, Hasan gets away with everything.
And to cool things down now. I will not give ICE the pretext to expand operations in our state. For that reason, New Jersey law enforcement is today establishing a peaceful, protected program.
Look at that cop. Look at that thumb. Guys, just remember, if you become a cop or a ICE officer, you become a thumb or a dick head. Literally. Cops are thumbs. ICE are dickheads. The ugly kind. The non-consensual kind. Yeah. They all look like dickheads.
Test zone in the area right outside Delaney Hall.
New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill calls in New Jersey state troopers outside the Geo-run massive immigration jail, Delaney Hall, as the Newark mayor.
This is fucked up. We really shouldn't have to deal with this. You know what I mean?
Implements a nightly
we shouldn't have
curfew.
To deal with.
Inside the jail, detainees are on their 11th day of a hunger.
We need to abolish ICE. The cops are bad enough already, as you can see.
And labor strike. We'll go to New Jersey for the latest. Then de-ICE Citizens Bank, a grassroots campaign focusing on the funders of private prisons, is gaining momentum.
Okay,
we'll
this is a good idea.
With former Wall Street Journal and Business Week reporter Paul Barrett and Oscar-nominated filmmaker Julie Cohen.
We're protesting Citizens Bank. We're shutting down our accounts at Citizens Bank because of their financing the private prison companies behind Delaney Hall and other ICE detention that is responsible for so much abuse of our immigrant neighbors.
And finally, 3 protesters in Spokane, Washington, were found guilty of conspiracy after attending a protest outside an ICE jail.
Conspiracy?
My name is Bajan Malvawala. I'm an Army veteran and regular guy. And I was just convicted of aiding and abetting a conspiracy for a peaceful protest that happened in Spokane, Washington, June 11th, 2025.
We'll go to Spokane to speak with Bajan Mavawala, as well as Aaron Glantz, who's reporting this story for The Guardian. All that and more coming up. Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. The U.S. attacked Iranian radar and drone sites on the island of Qeshm over the weekend, while Iran said it launched a retaliatory attack on a U.S. base in Kuwait. This comes as Iran's foreign ministry claims it's not currently engaging in talks with the U.S. on the details of its nuclear program, and that Iran and Oman are the only two countries that have a right to, quote, exercise sovereignty, unquote, in the Strait of Hormuz.
It's their fucking land, literally.
President Trump claimed on social media that, quote, Iran really wants to make a deal, unquote. On Saturday, Trump said during an interview with his daughter-in-law, Laura Trump, on Fox News, that the U.S. should not have waged war on Iran.
Him saying that it's international waters should be considered treason. I mean, like it matters.
You look at what happened with Iraq. We did so bad. That was such a foolish thing, what we did. Shouldn't have been there in the first place, by the way.
Shut up, you
And
pig.
shouldn't have been in Iran. But Iran has the capability. If we
I'm getting upset that I can even do a Trump voice anymore. Like, it's not even funny. All your bases are belong to us. Oh, is it belonging? I always remember belong. All your bases are belonging to us. Oh, the best meme ever.
we didn't hit them with the B-2 bombers.
Like, I got to figure out how different. I just break out my Cockney accent, I guess.
It's not.
Make fun of the UK for being losers. Nigel fucking Farage, eh, mate? That's right. These fucking rightoids.
9 months ago, they would have a nuclear weapon right now.
In southern Lebanon, Israeli troops captured the medieval Beaufort Castle over the weekend, raising the Israeli flag over the fortress in what the army described as its deepest incursion in Lebanon in over a quarter of a century. That's despite an April ceasefire.
You have to have seen certain video games.
Brokered by the U.S. between Israel and Lebanon. This comes as Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Defense Minister.
I am bristling right now with, like, the injustice that I'm seeing happen in front of me.
Minister Israel Katz ordered strikes on southern Beirut targeting Hezbollah.
Yeah, all your bases are belong to us.
Killed 6 people in a village near the city of Nabatea. This is a local resident.
Like, I always imagined one day being an elite hacker. Seriously, I used to think about this when I was a kid. I think after I saw that hacker movie. Anyway, I'll be like, yeah, go in. What message would I leave?
Over there in the area where we are, the shelling is towards the Ali Al-Tahar Hills, around the Beaufort Castle. We're in these valleys over there, sitting in an orchard. You never know how the drones might carry out some...
We're like, yep, I got you guys. I'm not the only one, of course, now. Every hacker uses it. Right?
Airstrikes on us. They're not sparing anyone.
Look at these people that we're looking at here. They don't even, let me just tell you something. I'm not trying to say this in a way that's like, oh, these people are not civilized. This old guy, has no teeth. Let me tell you something about people that don't have teeth. It's bad there. Okay? You know what I'm saying? The average bro's missing front teeth. Looks like this. He's 40. Bro's seen some shit. Yeah, no shawarma.
Know how the drones might carry out.
I'm just saying, like, you just know. Of course. I mean, I'm no better. I got shitty, fucked up shit. But my point is it ain't cheap in America.
Some airstrikes there. They're not sparing anyone.
And this is I'm yelling at, of course, Israel.
In Gaza, Israeli attacks have killed 2 Palestinians and injured several others. On Saturday, Dr. Jamal Abu Aboun, head of the anesthesia department, Al Yafa Medical Hospital in central Gaza, was killed.
Look, their houses are made out of tin. And they're wearing flip-flops and, the one pair of Adidas jacket they got.
In an Israeli drone strike that injured 3 other civilians, including a 2-year-old girl. Since last October's U.S.-brokered so-called ceasefire, Israeli attacks have killed at least 922 Palestinians.
Mine are ugly as fuck.
The House Armed Services Committee has unveiled its proposed 2027 National Defense Authorization Act, which would see a record-shattering $1.15 trillion spent on the U.S. military over the next fiscal year.
Good news. Japan has a drug that lets you regrow your 3rd set of teeth. And I'm not even fucking kidding. Is that fucking crazy or what? That's some science fiction shit right there.
The bill's many.
Apparently we have a 3rd set of teeth ready to come in. I don't know why. Think about that. Why do we have a 3rd set of teeth that never come in? As soon as they remove the gene, boom, they come in. Apparently. Perhaps we're meant to live longer than 100 years.
Provisions is Section 224, entitled the United States-Israel Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative.
Oh, gene therapy or gene editing? Yeah.
The provision would bring the U.S. and Israel into an unprecedented partnership covering technology sharing, the co-production of weapons systems, and bilateral research and development across multiple domains of warfare, including biotechnology, autonomous.
Those are some nice shots with the deep blue. That's the blue. That's the blue that our president wants the pool to look like. That's American blue, just like I have around my aura. I have American blue around my aura just for you guys. Yeah, I got to stop doing that
AI,
voice.
Cyber warfare, and more. During a closed-door testimony with the House Oversight Committee on Friday, former Attorney General Pam Bondi.
I don't care. I'll be making fun of people going forward. They just don't have as good of a... the thing about Trump is, and the reason other comedians use him is because he has a very memeable voice. And you know what I mean? Other presidents, you could do. Obama's pretty good.
Claims she lacked real authority in overseeing the release of the Epstein files. Instead, she blamed her successor, Attorney General Todd Blanche.
And Pussy too? I can probably do it, Obama.
Very nice.
I don't know.
Blanche, Trump's former personal lawyer. Bondi also reportedly told committee members Blanche was managing, quote,
I mean, it's kind of what fuck the government has meant for years, is that we want more. And we've said fuck it, because even getting the rightoids to agree with me as a leftist, it's always about, yeah, fuck the government, because what they do is, not right, obviously. But the rightoids don't realize that, there's the duopoly and the party's just one party, and, they don't understand the nuances like I do. So I agree with them. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. Government sucks because it doesn't do things right. And I go, well, what if they did it right? And what if they did X, Y, and Z? What if you got free health? Well, I don't want health care.
Entire
I like mine. Nothing changes. You keep your fucking Kaiser. You keep your Dr. Benjamin Gupta, whatever his name is. You're so concerned about keeping, because he's the best doctor from India. And I'm saying that because this bro's telling me that, racist too.
Investigation, unquote.
Anyway,
and determined which documents would be released. That's according to Congressmember Robert Garcia of California, the rank.
No, it's a really funny joke, because it's ironic at the same time, because at the same time we're like, we should be loving our government more, and we should have reasons to, because that's what it's there for. It is literally there to sort the fucking indices, make sure the money's allocated properly, and make sure that our voices, as far as democracy and a vote, according to, it's supposed to be us saying, hey, this is the guy we want to represent us. But now it isn't anymore. So we're just trying to get back to that. So maybe they're just saying, yeah, love the government because we can change it. Don't give up. Don't give in to nihilism. That's what they're saying. Or they decided, hey, I'm not going to be nihilistic anymore. I've switched.
Democrat.
And I think that is the tide. I think we have to have that switch. So that's a chatter.
On the committee.
Nice point.
A federal judge has ordered a temporary halt to the Trump administration's efforts to set up a nearly $1.8 billion slush fund for Trump supporters who say they were wrongly investigated.
Yeah, because when you yell and you're like fucking talking to a rightoid and you're yelling at them, it's like, you're like, what? You don't want free healthcare, but it'll raise the budget. And it's like, look at that. He's already raised the budget for war. Like, and I'm chatting, I'll argue like, well, then we put the money for war into the fucking healthcare and you get free healthcare, bro, too. So do I. They can't argue with that. I'm like, that's socialism, bro. And they're like, oh, well, I thought socialism was I pay for other poor people and you take all my money and make me poor. It's like, no, it's more like that. It's more like what Mamdani's doing. Yeah. And then you start talking about, well, they want to tax us. And I'm like, okay. And I look at the person next to me, they're making $150,000 and they're complaining and bitching and moaning about getting taxed. I'm like, they're not talking about you, little bro. They're not talking about you. Okay. Little bro, you're a little pipsqueak, 150, 250, you're a pipsqueak. We're talking about billionaires. And then you got to have that conversation with them about that. It's like, never had a conversation about the difference between millionaires and billionaires. So here I was on the streets actually doing the shit I do on this fucking stream too, right? I'm ready to have that argument. And I did, but maybe some of it'll stick. Maybe something will go around that guy's head and they'll be like, oh, I get it now. And that's what I'm fucking hope for.
Previous administrations. The so-called anti-weaponization fund
right there
was announced by the Department of Justice last month as part of a settlement between the IRS and Donald Trump.
Yeah, and this is bullshit and it's not going to stand and I think it's going to disappear.
And his family after the president sued his own administration's IRS for $10 billion over the leaking of his tax returns.
It's kind of funny. I'm doing it to myself. Kind of feels weird, but I'm doing it anyway. It's the right thing to do. These J6ers, they didn't do anything wrong.
I got nothing. Nothing else, boys.
Returns by an employee of a federal contractor. The Wall Street Journal reports more than a dozen Republican senators have privately urged top Trump aides to abandon the fund over concerns it could award millions of dollars to Trump supporters who attacked the Capitol and its police on January 6, 2021.
Around concerns, Amy. That's what it's for. And guess who gets to decide who gets paid out? Trump and his cronies. What? Can you believe we're even talking about this? Of course you can. This is fucking idiocracy. Motherfuckers are charging money to rent idiocracy. Give me a fucking break, guys. Movies in the 80s should be open sourced. I'm done with Hollywood. Fuck you, Hollywood.
Vice President Mike Pence also condemned the fund.
There is a program called Stream EO. Okay. It is a library for your movies. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. There's ways to include your streaming videos in that app called Streamio via a plugin and or what do they call it? They call it a add-on. And basically everything is available. And I mean everything. As long as you log in. Yeah, and they want to charge you $4.99 on Apple TV to fucking rent it. Yeah. It's amazing how out of... Like, that movie just came in, no one cared, and then years later it was like, what the fuck? Yeah. But like seeing it
fund.
Originally...
I mean, it's deeply offensive to me that...
It's one of... What's that actor's name? That's the main actor. It's one of his better movies, I think.
That you could have a fund that could even possibly compensate people who assaulted police officers or vandalized the Capitol.
Yeah, what is happening to Mike? Okay, we have a problem. Okay, either it's a color grade problem, someone's smoking the crack on the color grade, on the LUT levels, with the fucking Meet the Press. They got a new temp in or something. Color grading's a little off, but I have seen 2 red-faced motherfuckers on TV today already. He's gonna explode. Is he okay? What was it? Captain or Dr. something Mountain Dew Camacho was the president or something like that. It's like, fuck.
On January 6th. And I think that's broadly held by most Republicans.
Is that a spray tan? That's so red.
Jersey, today marks the 11th day
I look yellow
since hundreds of immigrants
right
detained at the ICE jail known as Delaney Hall began a hunger and labor strike, demanding their immediate release. Protesters and organizers continue to gather near the jail Sunday after New Jersey State Police erected a barricade about a half a mile long around Delaney Hall's perimeter. Activists have denounced New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill for deploying state.
Chat, just don't forget, if you're in the streets, the cops are not on your side, okay? They pretend like they are. They'll stand on lines sometimes and protect you, but number one, police are never even supposed to have any kind of chemical agent and spray it on anyone, number one. I don't know how in the hell all of a sudden we're just doing that and everyone's like, whatever, including Chud the Builder. That stuff shouldn't even be in the streets. Number two, they're supposed to, like, there used to be laws against using horses in riots, okay, in riot situations. Number fucking one, even beyond the harm to the human, is the harm to the animals. They don't like that shit. Like, it's bad for the animals. Horses do not like to hurt humans. And making a horse try to stomp a human like the way they do with these fucking horses, I think is fucking beyond the pale. And I think they need to be put in jail for that shit. Number one. Number two, of course, a horse stomping a human who is protesting, pushing against them, is not okay in America right now. It shouldn't be allowed.
Police against protesters, with some officers wearing riot gear. Newark Mayor Ross.
No, I'm going to be straight. If you call the police, they're not on your side then either. Do not assume they are. I'm sorry. Maybe 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. I'm sorry. Do not assume that now.
Baraka has imposed a nightly curfew around Delaney
may be there to help you,
further notice.
But don't assume they're on your side.
There were reports of more arrests
ever.
Sunday night as some protesters defied the curfew. Mayor Baraka's move came after another weekend of clashes between protesters and law enforcement. New Jersey Governor Sherrill said family visitations at Delaney Hall were partially restored Sunday after the Department of Homeland Security suspended visits, citing the protests. Many organizers and relatives of detainees said they were denied entry to the facility after waiting for hours. This is Karen Marino, whose uncle, Gabrielle Marino, has been jailed at Delaney Hall since August of last year. She said her uncle lived in the United States for most of his life after migrating from Oaxaca, Mexico as a teenager.
My uncle is starving to death in there. His molars have fallen out. It is chaotic in there. It is hell. This is just like Auschwitz. It is history repeating itself. My uncle is in one of the hunger striking detention units. He is in there supporting this, but my uncle is feeling very weak, and I feel that he is dying in there. He is in the detention unit where guards have beaten and assaulted detainees.
Again, Karen Marino's uncle, Gabriel, has been at Delaney Hall since last August. She was speaking to Democracy Now!'s Maria Teresina. We'll have more on Delaney Hall after headlines. In Texas, police have arrested...
And honestly, fuck anyone that works for him right now. If you think you're doing any kind of good job, and you're working for Geo Group or any of these prison camps, and you think, oh, well, at least I got a job, you're not going to have a conscience. Get the fuck out.
An immigration and customs enforcement agent who faces charges of felony assault and falsely reporting a crime during an immigration raid in Minneapolis in January. Hennepin County prosecutors allege 52...
You just don't want to work for this lawless government. You don't. They will make you do things that are illegal, and whether or not you get caught or not, it doesn't matter. You're going to live with that shit when things go back to quote-unquote normal.
Year-old Christian Castro shot Venezuelan immigrant Julio Sosacelis in the leg through the door of a home, then lied by claiming the assault was in self-defense. Castro was booked into the Cameron...
I can't believe they've lasted this long. Like, I am surprised we haven't had more mass quittings. It just goes to show you how deprived the real cops are. I'm sorry. I always try to be deferral to cops and be like, well, you know, some of them go in, you know, I know plenty of people that have become cops. But like, quit.
County jail in Texas Friday.
Ice, at least,
if he challenges his extradition, Democrats...
You think you're getting that $30,000? I'm on a rant. I'm pissed right now. You think you're getting that $30,000, people? Working for ICE? You think you're getting that $30,000? You're never getting it. You're probably never going to get paid.
Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota will have to make a formal request from Texas Republican Governor Greg Abbott,
for what?
A Trump ally. The U.S. military says it struck a vessel in the Eastern Pacific on Saturday, killing 3 men. U.S. Southern Command claimed the vessel was, quote, engaged in narco-trafficking operations, again, providing no evidence. Since September, the Pentagon says it's killed more than 200 people in strikes on boats in the Caribbean Pacific. The attacks have been widely condemned as unlawful extrajudicial killings. In Colombia, a pro-Trump lawyer and businessman took lead over an ally of outgoing leftist President Gustavo Petro in the first round of the presidential election on Sunday.
I don't understand why there's no way to stop the president from doing that. Every fucking piece of shit liberal president that told me they couldn't do X, Y, and Z now looks like a piece of shit to me, because you could have done a lot more than you did. Okay? Obviously. And gotten away with it. Look at what this fucking president's gotten away with. Think about all the slightly progressive shit we wanted back in the day, like, let's go back to Obama. How about Obamacare? What we really wanted instead of Obamacare, and the reason we didn't get it, is simply because Obama backed out and decided he didn't want to go for single-payer health care, right? We wanted single-payer. We wanted universal health care, right? We wanted Medicare for all. That's what we were going for. We ended up coming to a compromise with Obamacare, which sucks. And even the fucking Republicans have gotten hang off that about how much it costs or how much it sucks, blah, blah, whatever. Okay. It's still better than not having any insurance, which is what we had before. So we came to a common ground. That's supposed to be the liberal position. That's supposed to be the Democratic position, right? But the reason we didn't get single payer is because Obama and his ilk, they acquiesced because they said, we can't do it. If we push any further, we're going to lose it all. We won't even get Obamacare at all. Right? They fed us bullshit lines. Obviously, they're bullshit lines now, even more, because you can see Trump doing whatever the fuck he wants, wherever the fuck he wants, whenever he wants, without asking absolutely anyone, including his own staff. So if this president can push it that far, Obama could have certainly gotten us universal health care. And guess what? I'll bet you we wouldn't have even had Trump as a president. I'm not even kidding. People would have been happier. The economy would have been better. The deficit still would have gone up a little bit. Who cares? It still would. What? It hasn't ever gone down.
Far-right candidate Abelardo
Not my problem anyway. It's the government's problem.
Took nearly 44% of the vote compared to 41% for...
How do you make so much hay off the deficit being so high? No one cares. There's no deficit hawks left in any party. Shut up about the deficit. Fix the fucking country. Fix the government. Give us health care.
Ivan Cepeda, who's vowed to continue Petro's progressive agenda and negotiate peace deals with armed groups.
Right.
De la Espriella has promised to crack down on crime and build mega prisons like Secat.
Why does every fucking Latin America country see some fucking Nazi and go, oh yeah, me too? Bro.
That's the Salvadoran prison inspired by El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele. The two candidates will head to a runoff later this month. A federal judge has ordered Donald Trump's name to be removed from the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. U.S. District Judge Christopher Cooper ruled Friday Trump's rebranding of the center to include his own name constituted an illegal act, writing, quote, Congress gave the Kennedy Center its name and only Congress can change it, unquote. Judge Cooper also temporarily barred Trump from closing the Kennedy Center for what Trump claimed are renovations. Trump announced a 2-year closure after a wave of artists and performers resigned or canceled performances. Meanwhile, President Trump has lashed out at prominent artists who've canceled plans to perform at the Great American State Fair. That's the name of a series of events on the National Mall to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. A number of performers say they were misled by organizers and did not know of the event's connections to Trump and his MAGA movement. Among those canceling are Young MC, Morris Day, Martina McBride, CNC Music Factory, and the Commodores. In response, President Trump blasted the artists who dropped out as third rate and said he might replace their performances by delivering a major speech, unquote. Brooklyn Rivera, a prominent Nicaraguan indigenous leader, died in prison over the weekend. He was 73 years old. Rivera was a former lawmaker and leader of the Mosquito people, the largest indigenous group in Nicaragua. In the 1980s, Rivera fought against the Sandinista government alongside the CIA-backed Contra rebels. He was imprisoned 3 years ago by Nicaraguan authorities. 3 days before his death, the government published photos of Rivera bedridden, intubated, and emaciated, prompting outrage from human rights groups. And here in New York, family and friends gathered at Riverside Church Saturday for a memorial service celebrating the life of Assata Shakur, the legendary Black Panther and Black liberation activist who died last September at the age of 78 in Cuba. Assata Shakur was convicted in the May 2nd, 1973 killing of a New Jersey state trooper during a shootout that left one of her fellow activists dead. She was shot twice by police during the incident. In 1979, she managed to escape from jail and flee to Cuba, where she received political asylum. She long proclaimed her innocence. This is the renowned abolitionist, author, and activist Angela Davis speaking at Saturday's memorial service.
R.I.P.
So when we defend Assata Shakur today, We are defending all radical movements, anti-racist movements,
Also,
abolition feminist
Tupac's
movements,
mom,
anti-Zionist
by the way.
movements, anti-war movements, anti-capitalist movements.
And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy
fucking
Goodman.
Hasan and Cenk end up in
Thanks
Cuba.
for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube.
fuck,
Subscribe to
What
the
is
channel
happening
and
on my
turn on
timeline
notifications
right now?
to make sure you never miss a
I'm
video.
serious.
And for more of our audience-supported journalism, go to democracynow.org.
That could just make it smaller.
Hey, Mom, Donnie, it's great to see you.
It's so lovely to see you, Jen. Thank you for having me.
We hear this criticism all the time. I can't even imagine the number of times you have heard it.
Why don't you start out with something that's not a criticism, Jen? Why do liberals do this? You don't have to come in hot first. He's on your team. Like, why start out with a confrontational question?
Democratic socialists like yourself, they all sound good on paper, pie in the sky, but they're too expensive to ever happen. They're
I mean, of course, maybe this is a setup question. I'm being a little harsh. Okay.
unrealistic. I just laid out a number of the things that you have already managed to do this year, and you did it, again, while also balancing the city's budget, not cutting services.
Doing all right.
For people out there who may not be New Yorkers who are tuning into this, how'd you manage to do that?
Well, I think we always asked ourselves the question of how can we actually deliver for what has become the most expensive city in the United States of America? How can we tackle the cost of living crisis? And for all of the conversation of...
And guess what? If he can do it in New York, that means we can do it in any city. And all we need is a good mayor. Do you hear me? L.A.?
Whether or not we can afford it, what we've actually found is that
hear
we
me,
can't
LA?
afford to continue
What's wrong
to
with
pursue
you?
a politics of inaction, a politics of complacency. And what we've done is deliver on a vision of universal childcare, as you said, for the first time in New York City history, delivering free childcare for 2-year-olds. And this is something that means so much to New York families because, as you know, in our city, it's considered a good deal if you're spending $20,000 a kid per year for childcare. This is how we actually drive down the cost of living. And we're proud to be doing it here so that we show that our party can be more than just a negation of what we're seeing at the federal level. We can also actually have an affirmative vision of what we can deliver on the local level.
You've clearly been focused on cutting waste and going through the budget, I assume dollar by dollar, a little more than that, to find savings so that you can do the things you want to do. Having just gone through all that, I just have to ask you about some of the spending we've been seeing out of Washington. I mean, in particular, Trump's decision to use $1.8 billion of taxpayer money as a slush fund for his aggrieved supporters. I mean, that's a lot of money. The people it's going to is its own separate outrageous problem. And the same people who are defending this fund are the ones who spent months claiming you were going to bankrupt New York with your policies. I know, because we've talked a number of times, you never stop smiling through all this, but that has to make you furious, right?
I think it just shows that it's never been about the amount of money. It's about what it's being spent on. And there is a politics across this country that is completely at peace.
A barista's salary in New York is no different than it is here in California. In fact, it's worse. Baristas can get paid more here where I live in California than in New York because they get an average of $18, a base wage of $18 an hour, and it's like $37,000 a year. How are they going to pay for their apartment and $20,000 to raise a kid? You're not raising a kid being a barista.
With the idea of spending billions of dollars to enrich those who already have more money than they know what to do with. And what they are offended by is the idea of spending that money to help those who've been left behind by our politics. The idea that we have money in Washington for these kinds of...
I think a barista is a really good measure of how fucked up a economy is. If someone can't be a barista and rent an apartment and pay the rent,
of initiatives, when here in New York City, we are looking to protect our New York in this.
You're not looking to be a barista and live an hour outside the city. You're not going to be in fucking, what is it? Upstate New York taking the train into fucking New York to be a barista, which people are, for $37,000, right? Like, what? What is this life?
Money. It just shows that it's all a question of priorities. It's not a question of what's possible.
There's a lot that could be done with $1.8 billion. I'm sure you could plan some things in New York City. We've seen several proposals, some at the federal level and state level, to tax the money from Trump's slush fund at 100%. I mean, there's one from the governor of California. There's also a bill in the New York State Assembly to do that right now. Anyone who's watched you closely know you're not afraid to tax someone who you think deserves to be taxed. Do you support those kind of proposals?
I think that's the kind of imagination we need to see, whether it's here in New York City or across the country, because what we found time and again is it feels like the Republican Party has a monopoly on imagination, whereas Democrats are constructing an ever-lowering ceiling of what's possible. And it's time for us to actually show that we are willing to fight for the people who are being left behind by these kinds of policies. And as you said, $1.8 billion could make every bus free twice. That's the kind of money that we're talking about when it comes to New York City. And yet, that's the money that they're willing to spend on what are clearly just partisan political priorities.
So if a New York City resident gets...
Even the idea of free busing. Like, say someone does live in New Jersey, gets a barista job in downtown New York or in Manhattan, right? They need to take a bus. They're not going to get a car. Getting paid $37,000, you can't afford a car. Even if you lived in New Jersey and you lived in your mom's house, you'd still need to get a job. You're not going to find one in New Jersey because someone's got it. So you find one in Manhattan because it pays more. But then you take a free bus. Think about that.
It's money from the slush fund.
So,
I mean, you might be open to a proposal, it sounds like, to tax them at 100%. That's
helping people move in an economy is also important. Making it hard for them to move about is not good.
It's going through the assembly.
I think it's time to explore every option to see what it can look like to actually fight back against these kind of federal policies, because we're looking at a city that is the most expensive in the United States of America, and it's a city where 1 in 4 people are living in poverty. And the same city which has generated immense wealth is one where so many New Yorkers dread the first of the month because they don't know how they're going to pay for both their rent bill and their utility bill. And for us to see all of this while we have a federal government that is willing to put $1.8 billion into a fund like this, leave alone spend tens of billions of dollars on a war in Iran that not only offends our moral sensibilities or our political sensibilities, but also our economic ones. Because just these kinds of decisions, it's not just a use of money that could be spent for the benefit of working people here. It's also a decision that exacerbates a cost of living crisis across the country and makes it even harder for those working people, no matter what city they call home.
It's sending a moral message, too, about your priorities, which is so key. That's what a budget is. I've been dying to ask you about immigration. I mean, there have been, as you well know, big protests about the conditions at a detention center just across the river from your city in Newark, New Jersey. And in response to those protests, you've probably seen this, but just in case people who are watching haven't seen it, I just wanted to play something that Trump's Secretary of Homeland Security, Markwayne Mullin, said earlier this week.
We're currently drawing up plans to say, listen, in these sanctuary cities where the local radical left Democrats aren't allowing us to do our job and enforce federal laws, then we shouldn't be processing international flights into their cities either.
I mean, that is a very significant statement. I don't have to tell you. New York's JFK airport processes more international flights than anywhere else in the country. What is your response to that threat from Secretary Mullin?
You know, our laws and our values are not bargaining chips. We will not be threatened to leave so many of the New Yorkers who call this city home prey to these kinds of cruel policies. We are proud of the fact that we are a sanctuary city. We're proud of that for a number of reasons. One, it is a policy designed to keep New Yorkers safe. Two, we know that here in our city, we are proud of the more than 3 million New Yorkers who are immigrants. I'm one of them. And we know that in a city like this, it is incumbent upon us to live up to the ideals of the Statue of Liberty, not just tell people to come and look at it when they visit from across the world.
You speak to the president from time to time. You've spoken to him about his immigration policies in the past. You've even helped get a detainee in New York released. I'm curious, have you spoken to him since Markwayne Mullin made that announcement?
I keep the cadence of our conversations private, but what I will say, Jen, is that when I've had those conversations with the president, I have made clear, as you've said, that I view ICE's actions to be cruel and inhumane. These are not actions that serve any interest of public safety. And I say that time and again because what I've seen as the mayor of New York City is an agency that is operating with impunity, whether across the 5 boroughs of New York or whether elsewhere across the country. And so often, New Yorkers have no idea as to what could put them at risk beyond just the simple fact of their existence in this city.
The New York area, as you well know, is also hosting some of the World Cup matches later this year. World Cup tickets are very expensive. We could have a long conversation about that. but as part of your affordability agenda, I'm going to call it, you managed to negotiate with FIFA to get tickets priced at just $50 plus free bus travel to and from the stadium for 1,000 New Yorkers. There's also a deal with restaurants. There's a lot going on around the World Cup. The conversation about affordability, I think this is very interesting for a range of reasons, but one is that the conversation about affordability tends to revolve around really important issues, basic necessities, child care, health care, a lot of things you've talked about, other Democrats have talked about. But it made me wonder if this was kind of purposeful. I mean, are Democrats defining affordability too narrowly? Should it be about cultural issues, leisure issues as well, things that people who may not be as political are attuned to?
Absolutely. I think that for too long we've thought about people purely in the context of the time they spend at work and the time they spend at home and not what is it that actually keeps them moving. I can just tell you right now that so much of the energy and the excitement in this city, it's not just in anticipation of the World Cup, it's that the Knicks are in the finals for the first time since 1999. And the excitement and the energy around sports across this country, it is something that is in stark contrast to the fact that sports have become effectively a luxury commodity. When you look at the cost of ticket prices, no matter what sport that we're talking about. And so one of the reasons that I wanted to make sure that there were affordable tickets to World Cup games for New Yorkers is that when New Yorkers looked at the prices of those World Cup games and they saw thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, they couldn't even imagine themselves at that game. And that, frankly, is a shame when you consider the fact that soccer at its core is a working class game. And so we are proud of the fact that, as you said, we've secured 1,000 tickets that are $50. And the way that a New Yorker gets it is not by having to know the right politician or the right contact, but just by logging on at 10 a.m. into a lottery system and putting their name in. And if they win, they'll get, a ticket for themselves, a ticket for a friend, and as you said, free bus travel to go and watch the best soccer that the world has to offer. We want this to be a part of a vision where New Yorkers are not just struggling to afford to live in this city, but that they can also spread their wings in the city. They can
He also outlawed bedtime.
Go to a museum, they can watch a movie, they can go to a game and not have to worry about putting off their rent payment as an attempt to actually do it.
$14 for a jar of peanut butter. I don't think I eat the Jiffy stuff, but oh yeah, that's a...
Jeff Bezos claimed, with no vested interest in any of this, that...
I assume it's no stir and smooth. Or you said chunky, right?
...in Queens wouldn't be impacted at all. Jeff Bezos claimed, with no vested interest in any of this, that taxing the rich isn't going to do anything, so you shouldn't even try. He claimed that his taxes could be doubled and that teachers in Queens wouldn't be impacted at all. That's what Jeff Bezos said. And so Zohran Mamdani was asked about this by Caitlin Collins on CNN, notably, as the mayor of New York City. And this is what he had to say to Jeff Bezos, one of the wealthiest people on the planet.
Speaking of executives, Jeff Bezos told CNBC last week on taxes, and obviously, what you've said about affordability is looming in the background of this. He said that you could double his taxes, and as he put it, quote, "It's not going to help that teacher in Queens, I promise you." What was your response to that comment from Jeff Bezos?
Why would he give you an opening?
I know a few
like
teachers in Queens who would beg to differ.
Yeah.
And I think that if I was worth as much money as he was, then I would probably say the same thing. The fact of the matter is that we are talking about a city where 1 in 4 New Yorkers are living in poverty. And we're hearing from one of the richest men that our world has ever seen about how he and others who make that kind of money shouldn't have to pay their fair share. And frankly, what New Yorkers want to see is a tax system that recognizes the scale of this affordability crisis and actually provides a way for city government to be able to invest in those same New Yorkers in the manner that we used to decades ago.
Guys.
Speaking of it, it's just incredible how Bezos offered that up really so casually, as if he thought it would work just by, and it's really how things work for billionaires. It's why it doesn't necessarily matter if they're sociopaths before they become billionaires or sociopaths after. It creates this sociopathy and a disconnection from regular human beings because everything is served to you. So he thought he could provide some sort of evidence-free claim about how if you raise my taxes, it's not going to help people. It's not going to help people who are in poverty right now. Okay, based on what? And you think that you can go out there and just by sheer force of will, I don't know if he was speaking to some financial press that would have taken that at face value, but billionaires like that, they have just a bunch of sycophants around them that are like, oh, so true. So wise. And I just want them to get in front of cameras more often and say what they think. Because frankly, it's not that difficult to make a case against somebody who says, don't raise my taxes. I don't want to help teachers. It's not going to do anything to help teachers. You know what everyone's thinking about when you mention the elephant in the room is, hey, maybe your taxes could really help teachers. And more taxes on you could really help teachers.
Thanks for the idea.
So of course. I mean, I do think some of that stuff has changed, though. I feel like if he had said that 10 years ago, we would be subject to.
I think we should actually tax him at 99% over $1 billion and give it to teachers. Specifically Amazon. That way, every time you buy an Amazon package, it goes straight to teachers, the taxes.
Some sort of PolitiFact style for Pinocchios
have to use it for teachers
argument
only.
Where it's like, yeah, Mom Donnie says that taxing Jeff Bezos
Amazon
another 5% would help teachers, but there is no way to prove that that money would go specifically towards education. It might go towards helping garbage men or some other public sector that we need to fund. So, 8 banana peels. They would give them some sort of like fake rating to sort of delegitimize the point the same way they would do to any kind of point about medical bankruptcies that Bernie would make, or any point about the unfairness in the way in which we like redistribute money from, the bottom to the top. It's always like job creators and trickle down economics. And, it's only been recently that people have just like pushed back against that to the point where it's like, it's not even getting out the gate.
Yeah. I mean, I think even the response to the one big ugly ass bill, this tax bill, is evidence of that. Like, we have cut taxes to the bone, specifically for the wealthy, but, and disproportionately so. But the cost of living part is not solved
your tax
right now by people getting a few hundred or maybe a few thousand extra in taxes in their tax return. It is unable to keep up with the pace of inflation and and inflation's really only a part of the story. It's a corporate consolidation, price fixing from whether it be algorithms for your rent or whether it be some of these grocers or food suppliers that chose to artificially keep their prices up after the supply chain bottlenecks from COVID subsided, and they took home record returns. And those are public with public companies. We can see what you're taking home. And yet.
Yeah, and you have to pay unrealized gains on that. That's what they call taxes on your house. Yet Bezos doesn't have to pay any money on his unrealized gains, quote unquote.
They are still publicly calling it inflation and claiming that it's otherwise, this is just the market naturally responding to things.
Everyone's
and so
Bezos only gets
a tax cut.
$100,000 a year in a salary or something, or he only takes a $50 a year salary. That's it. You're like, how dumb do you got to be?
That bill doesn't have the same political salience, to your point, Brandon, that it did 15, 20 years ago, because our economy is fundamentally at such a broken place due to the tax cuts being so disproportionately geared towards the wealthy, so that like even the economy as it's structured is unable to properly function for 90.
Yeah, think about this. It takes $90,000 a day to keep Zuckerberg's yacht running, ready to go. So imagine how much money that Bezos guy is spending every day.
9% of people, because the wealthy have consolidated so much power that they're making it work for them.
But here's the actual truth. The idea that billionaires spend a lot of money, they really don't. They buy things we don't buy and can't buy because they're too expensive. So they're not really shopping from the same economy we're shopping from. You know what I mean? And what? They buy more food by a little bit because they don't ever think about buying less food, but not really. You can only eat so much. The rest is going in the garbage. So what? They're throwing a lot of food. Who cares? Get my point?
I mean, I think I just want to point out.
Being a billionaire doesn't mean there's going to be anything trickling down. Because they're literally not spending in our economy. They're like not even going to the same restaurants we would go to. And set up that way specifically. There's literally a different economy. When you're rich, you're looking for expensive restaurants on purpose because you know the fucking plebs won't be there. Right? It's been like that forever. Hotels. And us plebs are like, yeah, whatever. We don't really. I mean, obviously throughout the years, it's blended a little bit, but still.
To that, and I think traditionally people like Jeff Bezos would strictly make the argument that, like, you know, their money is better off with them because they're the job creators, and they could help more by creating jobs, and that's why they shouldn't, be taxed. They should be taxed.
But that money that they have is for them, not for job creation. We're talking about your actual income, sir, mister.
Less. And I know they still make that argument, and I believe Bezos even made that argument along with this other one he made where, well, my money's not going to go to help teachers in Queens. But, like, I think it says a lot that they're adding this other part to it now, because I think they are starting to realize that that timeless argument that we need the money to create jobs isn't really hitting with everybody anymore, because all you have to do is sort of look around and see either A, the jobs aren't being created when we don't tax these guys, or B, whatever jobs they do create, they like pay subservient wages that require you to go on welfare programs anyway.
Well said. Exactly. If it's not on the job creation stuff, it allowed people to be subservient and not have like class consciousness and collectivist viewpoints where they understood who the real enemy was. But we're not at a place right now in the economy where that makes sense. And the oligarchs that we're talking about here that are so, like the tech oligarchs in particular, the AI reaction that is happening across the country, the fact that people fundamentally understand that this is about taking my job away and not providing me with anything that I can look forward to or stability. Like, my stepdad was at the same company since he was 22 until he retired and had a pension. And it's like, that doesn't exist anymore. You can't make the arguments about jobs and economic stability for people who are experiencing the most unstable economy of their lives.
And on top of that, like, I feel like, obviously this is in the argument usually from these types, like the tech industry is like, oh, what about when, they automated factory work and, they automated this part of car making or whatever. And they bring up all these other past technological advances. But the issue here, I think, is like, usually there's someone who benefited from those, like maybe prices would drop the things would be a little bit more affordable in some way. There would be some group that benefited. Some regular, ordinary group of people benefited in some way. Consumers, for example. But we're seeing now that AI is being rolled out in everything, and nothing is changing for the better.
I know, I get it. We got to move on to the Nazi Day Parade.
Welcome back into Live Now from Fox. I'm Ryan Schmelz. It appears the Israel Day Parade in New York City is underway, so we're going to go ahead and take that live and pull up the audio and listen in live.
Oh my God, who is it? None other than Chuck Schumer.
Daughter's 4th birthday. The two are related. We must fight for her, my little grandchild, to grow up in a world that's safe for Jewish people. And I worry deeply about the future they're going to inherit.
Really?
The Holocaust showed the world what Jews have known for millennia, that our...
How about you stop?
Security and our safety is never safe as long as we lack a place of refuge, a homeland. To quote the great Irish writer Conor Cruz O'Brien,
why would you drag an Irish person? Oh, he's evil. I hate this guy so much.
anti-Semitism is a light sleeper, and now we are seeing an ugly resurgence of anti-Semitism across the world, driven by the same lies and libels that have tormented the Jewish people for generations.
Lies and libels that have tormented. How is that related to Israel, sir?
Except now, they're transmitted at the speed of a fiber optic internet connection. In 30 seconds, lies are on your pocket phone. That's why a Jewish state is more important than ever. Anti-Semitism isn't going away. It always lingers, stalks in the shadows, waiting for the right conditions.
No, it doesn't. What?
For millennia, let them hear that loud and clear. The Jewish people have yearned for a state of Israel, whilst experiencing the constant anxiety of knowing the place where they lived could violently expel them at any moment, has happened again and again.
No.
We cannot, we must not.
Lots of Jewish people live in America and have no fear of being expelled ever. What are you talking about?
Not go back to that era. I believe in the state of Israel. I support the state of Israel. If there had been a state of Israel in 1941, dozens of my ancestors would have been able to flee Nazi persecution. So, ladies and gentlemen, whether it's in Israel or in America or around the world, Am Yisrael Chai. The people Israel live. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Please now welcome an ally who has come to our parade time and again. An ally who came to all of our rallies to bring the hostages home and to bring lasting peace in the region. I don't forget it. No one should forget it. Please welcome the Attorney General from New York State, Letitia James.
It's an honor and a privilege to be here today. This parade is an honored tradition in the city of New York.
Is it?
And we march today in honor of that tradition. We march today in honor of the resilience of the Jewish people. We march in honor of history and of culture. And we march because I, as an African American, stand with the Jewish community against anti-Semitism now and forever. I march because the Jewish community stood with the African American community when we needed it. And it's important that individuals see my face and know that the Jewish community is not the only one responsible for standing against anti-Semitism.
Coughing and sneezing. Coughing and sneezing at the same time is never fun. Nope.
Requires every everyone, all of us, every ethnic group, every racial group, we must stand with the Jewish community because we are one, and that's why we march. And as long as I am the Attorney General, my message is clear. To anyone who commits an act of hate or anti-Semitism in the state of New York, you've got to get by this Attorney General, and we will make sure that the law is enforced and that you will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. God bless you, and march.
God bless you. Thank you. Woo! Thank you, AG. Someone who comes year after year, not just with words, not just with, but with actions. Unapologetic supporter of the state of Israel, and also courageously does the right thing in investing in Israel bonds because he does right by New Yorkers. The New York State Comptroller, Tom DiNapoli.
Thank you, Mark and JCRC. Thank you, Eric and UJA. This is a day of celebration, celebrating that deep connection between the people of Israel and the people of New York. The bonds between New York, Jewish...
Beautiful day. Cheers.
Every year. It's incredible. Thank you so much, Mark Traeger. I want to thank Mark, JCRC, UJA for putting together this incredible parade. I am here each and every year. This is the first year that I'm here as speaker, as the first Jewish speaker of the New York City Council. I want to tell you, 8 years ago, I was in Jerusalem, and I was in Jerusalem for the bar mitzvah of my twins.
God help me.
It was such a meaningful moment for myself and for my family. And that is why we march today. We are the second largest.
She just said, you know, I really enjoyed watching my son's sticks get cut up, and I went to Israel to do it, and now I'm here to make sure that happens in America.
Largest population of Jews outside of Israel. We are marching for Jewish pride. We are marching in solidarity with the Israeli people. And I want to say that we're also marching against the fight of anti-Semitism, which has never been worse. And that is why, as Mark said, I was so proud that the City Council passed our 5-point plan to combat anti-Semitism, including our buffer zone bill to protect all houses of worship. So today, on this beautiful day, we march. And the last thing I will just say is, as a daughter of a Holocaust survivor, when my mother and grandmother left Hungary, the only country at that time that would take them in was Australia. And so we are here now to support the Israeli people and to march with pride. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. And we're going to call...
Why are you marching for pride? They all know this isn't about being Jewish.
Call back Eric Goldstein to introduce a very, very special guest and someone who I want everyone to know.
Eric Goldstein.
When there were some questions about the parade, she and her team reached out to me, one of the first folks to reach out to me to say, Mark, not only will there be a parade...
Rather than turn around, she stayed. And her first stop with us was to keep down south.
Fuck these fucks. That's right. What's happening? Stop. Stop. Stop.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dave Rubin, suffering from a huge drop-off, I would imagine, of viewership, but also suffering from a real loss of guiding principle as to why he's still doing this.
Correct.
You can see he has AI doing half of his show now.
Can you make the AI talk to Russell Brand and Jillian Michaels?
He's just like, he's just going from August vacation to August vacation, trying to get through. Let me record a bunch of these and I'll just say this stuff. And then my producer that we hire for August will just throw in clips, and he's trying to revive his desire to do this. And he knows ever since the Russian money that was supporting his show, unbeknownst to him, dried up. The road has gotten a little bumpier.
Knew nothing about it.
And that money's just not flowing the way it is. The Koch brothers don't want to support him anymore.
Nope.
And so he goes out to LA.
All that Coke done dried up.
Thinking I can revive my career by going on Surrounded.
I thought he
because now he's been reduced to a gaydar
correspondent for Glenn Beck.
Right-wing
I
broadcast.
can't believe he set
friend.
foot back in LA, right? Didn't he have to leave there because of COVID? Or was it wokeness prior to that? Who knows which pandemic affected him more?
He went down to Florida, and so here he is. He is on Surrounded, and
he thought it was going to go well.
He thought it was going to go well, and this is fascinating. I don't think I have seen more fact checks of the guy doing the claims than on this, and it is amazing. And again, we have very good reason to believe that my name was brought up multiple times to him. And
yes, sir.
If it's not there, I suspect part of the reason is because he insisted on it being edited, and we'll get to that. But in the meantime, he's sitting down with this kid. I don't know what this guy's name is, but he's good. I've seen
Parker, I think.
He's very, very sharp. And just look at the expression on Dave Rubin's face when he realizes, like, I've got a problem here.
His facelift can't even hide it.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is a Parker Get a Job on Instagram.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, how are you?
All right, good. What is one main metric that Donald Trump has made better off since he got in office? So like an example would be GDP, unemployment, inflation, et cetera.
Well, right now, first off, the big beautiful bill was just passed last year, and it's kicking in now, right? It's kicking in now.
Pause it for a second. We got to stop right there.
He said beautiful.
It's kicking in now.
It's just about to kick in.
We've just only now begun to throw people off of Medicaid.
Yeah.
People are laughing at him.
Now.
Like within seconds. So the whole premise of what he's about to say is like, believe me, it's coming. Infrastructure week is going to be here.
Yes.
This is the same Dave Rubin who thought the Iran thing was going to be wrapped up in a couple of weeks.
And here is the amazing thing. Rubin knows he's going in there. He writes the claims. Right. And his claim is, if you're voting for Democrats, you're voting for broken cities, broken schools, broken borders. And he's being asked, like, what is the evidence that what your project is doing? And Dave, if he really believed that the big, beautiful bill was going to pay off, he would cite specific elements of this big, beautiful bill.
It's beautiful.
He would, everybody knew the tax cuts were coming. The rich people who got all the tax cuts, they knew they were coming. So it's not like, they're only finding out now that they're paying less taxes. No, they've known for over a year.
Yep.
And according to Dave Rubin's, that's what's going to help the economy. They know they're not going to have to pay these taxes. So they got this extra money to invest in all this job creation.
The job creators had to wait till April 16th because they didn't know what they were getting in their tax return yet to invest in the country.
And now it's job creation season.
It's job creation season. There's a time to reap and a time to sow.
Right.
Good.
Last year, and it's kicking in now, right? It's kicking in
They're
now.
laughing at him.
Okay, so we're going to now see results of that, or even the tariffs. All right, so let's do tariffs. Are you for or against tariffs?
Against the universal tariff. So what's the main metric that he made better off?
What?
What's the main metric that he made better off? GDP, unemployment, inflation? Do you have any idea?
Listen.
They're all laughing at it. Okay, we got to play. And is there a way to slow this down? Because he tries to distract. Because Dave obviously has one thing to say about tariffs. And he says, you for or against tariffs? I mean, we're talking this is, honestly, I went to a friend of Saul's bar mitzvah yesterday. And the level in which these 13-year-old kids speak to each other is about 10 times more sophisticated than the way that Dave Rubin presents. are you pro or anti-tariffs? And this is so dumb.
But I like this freeze frame. Look at his eyes. There's nothing there. There's nothing.
Panic. Exactly.
But just searching and searching aimlessly, like a child walking
This is what
through
a
the woods,
buzzed
picking things
boxer.
up.
Yeah. It looks like a buzzed boxer trying to find the clock to see how much time is left in the round.
Right. Or, he might actually be literally looking at the clock on the wall.
How much time's left?
The best thing to do though is watch the people in the background who are out of focus but still looking at each other to scoff at whatever. This is down to 0.85 speed, by the way.
Okay, now wait a second. I just want to remind, so he says and what's this kid's name again? Parker. Let me see if I can distract you with tariffs. Are you for or against tariffs? And
Tariffs
Parker
or
says,
not
I'm
tariffs?
against universal tariffs, which is exactly the right nuanced answer. There are instances where tariffs can work if it's combined with another policy because you want to build an industry, or maybe we need to do this for national security. We don't want all of our computer chips made in a country that can, I don't know, have COVID and we have no computer chips.
But you tailor it with an industrial policy, and you have to make sure that we have the capacity to make those goods here before you implement universal tariffs.
Or you build that industry.
Exactly, but that's what Biden was doing. And give credit to Parker here, or he is at the very least, that was a very efficient way to say exactly what we just said, and then goes, let's get back to the issue
Let's
at
get
hand.
back to the question. What's the one metric?
Yes.
And Ruben,
Parker's good.
You have to wonder, is he thinking, what is the metric system?
Right. Get inside that head.
What is the metric system? Is this the thing where it's like 3 feet long? Is that what are we talking kilograms, or is it, how do I measure? There's nothing I can reach for as a measure, but he'll find it, folks. He thinks he'll find it, but here he goes. And then he says, look, and everybody laughs at him.
Yeah.
Listen.
I don't think you do.
Do you think, hold on, so you're arguing that things economically were better under Joe Biden
At the end of his administration, absolutely.
Yeah, so can you give me an example of how?
Yeah, GDP growth was better off, real median wage growth was better off, inflation was better off at the end of his administration, unemployment was better off at the end of his administration. We had the worst year of job growth in the past 4 years, just this last year under Trump's administration. The inflation, 3.8% year over year since Trump got in office. We're seeing...
Go back. That was the cut. That was the face that I thought was just
He's like,
honestly,
fuck.
this is like the look on the face of someone who's just been punched in the head like 10 times and is trying to make it seem like to the ref, the fight's not over.
I'm fine.
Go back just a hair. Just a...
Job growth in the past 4 years, just this last year under Trump's administration. The inflation, 3.8% year over year since Trump got in office. We're seeing all of those economic indicators become worse off. Can you tell me anything that he's done to make it better off? You say it's broken for Democrats. It sounds like it's broken right now under Trump.
Have you looked at the stock market?
It's worse off in terms of growth in 2025 as compared to 2024. If you look at Dow Jones and S&P 500,
they're both up quite a bit right now,
but lower rate,
and
lower
doing
growth
quite
rate.
well. You know, things don't happen overnight. So Donald Trump, for example, things don't.
Let's just be clear.
Flag him out.
Everyone
Did you
knows
flag him
that the
out?
stock market, stripped of 6 AI stocks, is underperforming. But even if that wasn't the case, the only metric that Dave Rubin has for the success of the economy is one that benefits
Billionaires.
really in any way 20% of the population.
Max.
That's it.
Not even 20%.
And he has no answer for that. He's literally saying, well, rich people are doing better.
Yeah, my
even
401k
though
is up
there's a
72
lot of
cents.
concern by rich people that this is just a house of cards. But good.
P500.
They're both up quite a bit right now,
but lower rate,
and
lower
doing,
rate,
and
lower
doing
growth
quite
rate.
well. You know, things don't happen overnight. So Donald Trump, for example, things don't. That's true. That's true. There's reality. There's actual reality. Like you put policies into place, and they don't just stick in the next.
Let's read the fact check, shall we?
Yeah.
GDP growth, Trump 2025, 2.2, Biden 2.4.
Whoa.
Inflation, Trump 2026, 3.8, Biden 3%. Unemployment, Trump April 2026, 4.3, Biden 4.1. 2025 was Trump's worst non-COVID year for job growth. True. The S&P 500 returned 16.39 in 2025, which was a decline from 23 to 24% growth seen in 2024. Whoops.
So
but that was when Trump 1 was just kicking in.
Yes, right.
Just
It doesn't happen overnight, Sam.
It doesn't happen overnight, but then it does, and then it doesn't.
Just kicking in.
Like, I think the gas prices
about to
thing,
kick
it may not
in.
happen,
The
like, right
build back
overnight,
better.
but
I mean,
the night that we heard that we're going
Beautiful
to war
Bill.
with Iran
What
and
do
the
they
Strait
call
of
it?
Hormuz is going to be closed as a result, kind of changed a lot.
That's true.
I do like that the 5 for 5 for Nathan in the fact check.
Parker.
Oh, sorry, Parker. Sorry.
Right?
Well,
Donald
it's been
Trump.
a year and a half.
Donald Trump said when the
You
tariffs.
said in a year,
Hold on.
prices would be down 50% for electricity. Are they up right now?
Hold on. Donald Trump, when he brought in the whole idea of tariffs, you agree that
Everyone is just like, yeah, this is just a...
Oh, bro's like,
oh my God.
You saw them all throw their head back, like half of them in unison in laughter with his answer.
It's like having a hungover substitute teacher.
I want to put this out there right now. If Dave Rubin sues Parker for this type of reputational damage, that he will, I will help Parker raise funds to fight this suit. I don't think it's actionable, but it certainly is clear that Parker set Dave Rubin's career back another couple of years.
I mean, gosh, this is coming out right before Gay Pride, right? Jillian Michaels has got to.
How dare you?
Got to say that it's a hate crime
Dave's
to own
gay.
him like this.
Right now?
Hold on. Donald Trump, when he brought in the whole idea of tariffs, you would agree that for the last 4 decades, we have had completely lopsided trade deals with all of these countries where they're tariffing and taxing our products that go to them, and they're getting sweet deals when they sell to the American public. Do you think that's a fair...
Didn't Trump address that with the USMCA, but he went against that when he didn't extend it through the context of his new trade agreement because he wanted to place tariffs on all of them again. And his tariffs that he's placing on are destroying our relationships with countries all around the world.
No,
it's costing consumers here in this country. A Federal Reserve report just came out, indicated that we'd be below pre-pandemic levels of inflation if Donald Trump never imposed the tariffs in the first place.
Wait, when you
being able to bring down interest rates, being able to increase investment within our economy and bring more jobs back.
Hold on. When you say destroying our relationships with other countries, well, other countries were getting sweet deals, right? If Canada, which was charging crazy
Pause it for 1
taxes
second.
and
Fact
tariffs
check.
on
2026 Federal Reserve analysis finds Trump era and renewed tariffs have raised core goods prices by about 3.1% and roughly added 0.8 percentage points to the core PCE inflation,
Like I said,
meaning
it
inflation
would be like
today would likely
2.9,
be much
2.2%.
closer to the Fed's 2% target without those tariffs, which means, of course, too, that they would be able to lower interest rates and it would make it more affordable to buy a home, let's say, or a car. Now, Dave has pivoted from the tariffs are meant to help our economy to the tariffs are supposed to be fair, and we no longer give these countries sweetheart deals.
You know who the sweetheart deal, who benefited from the sweetheart deals that caused, like, say, the offshoring of American manufacturing? It wasn't other countries. It was the capitalists that made those decisions to move those operations to places with lower labor costs to avoid American unions. Like, this whole nationalist framing of trade is moronic.
Yeah.
our products that were going to them, and we were basically charging nothing back. How can we sell to their market? So if they're upset with us, right? So China is a little upset with right now. Upset with us. We're trying to get fairer deals. Canada, obviously under Carney, is upset with us because we're trying to get fairer deals. Donald Trump is trying to reset things. We were basically the world's piggy bank for the last. It's really basically post-World War II, and Donald Trump is trying to
Pause it for a
reverse
second.
that. So
what does
that
that
we'll
mean?
have fair.
A piggy bank. That's the place where you put your money and save it.
Savings.
We were the most secure place where people wanted to put their money.
And Donald Trump is trying to fix that.
And Donald Trump is trying to make it much riskier to invest and keep your money in this country.
Literally.
He's actually he's doing a really good job with that. I mean, with long-term bonds and with the long-term yields for the United States dollar.
I mean, what what was Dave Rubin even trying to say there? We were like the world's ATM.
Yes, that's what he was trying to say.
Collecting fees.
Yes.
On people withdrawing their own money. What? What
checkbook?
What economic problem could he point to that was a function of our not having access to specific markets?
Nothing.
We can't sell our cars in Japan or Europe because of the size of the cars.
Right. They're too big.
All we do is make SUVs. There's just no room, literally no room in most of these countries for an SUV. There could have been specific products that he wanted to push.
Right.
But I don't know, agricultural products or whatnot, saying, hey, this country is not, we don't have a fair trade deal. We want to renegotiate in some fashion.
Right.
But
That's the
it
way
has
you normally
destroyed
do it.
our farmers.
That's the way you
The
normally
tariffs
do it.
destroyed our farmers.
Right.
Destroyed our farmers.
Now they got phosphorus.
The number of bankruptcies amongst farms
fertilizer problems
has skyrocketed because of the tariffs. Go ahead.
Deals. If you told me that it was just zero across the board and there were no tariffs going any which way, I could completely get on board that. But as long as countries are going to treat us unfairly, often while we foot the bill for the defense or a series of other things, and we give them foreign aid and everything else,
using that word is just nebulous.
Pause it. What is the biggest recipient of our foreign aid?
Dave doesn't want to talk about that.
Israel.
Israel. But what's the second biggest?
Well, Egypt, but probably for the same reason.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
Go ahead.
Other things,
Because
and we
of
give them
Israel.
foreign aid and everything else. Well, then we should have equal playing field going both directions.
What better deal did he get?
What?
What better deal did he get?
What do you mean? Several countries have already come back, and we've
Name any of the conditions that made the trade better off. Give me the specifics.
Canada, I think they had something like a 60% tariff on cheese, literally on cheese, that was being sold from America, from Wisconsin to Canada, and that basically is zero right now. That's one little example. I think it's zero right now.
Okay, so that's a targeted tariff, not a universal tariff. Can you name
Pause it
one
for 1
country that had a
second.
universal tariff?
Fact check. Now, you can't, Parker's not going to know all of the potential world of lies that Dave Rubin can. Canada did not have a flat 60% tariff on U.S. cheese. That's now basically zero. Under the USMCA, which was negotiated by Donald Trump.
Yep.
U.S. cheese gets expanded duty-free access within quotas, but Canada still applies a steep over-quota tariff of about 245% on cheese. So a certain amount of cheese can go in to Canada, which incidentally also has dairy products, and the protection was not reduced from 60% to zero. He's just making this up.
All of our lives are so much better because of that, too.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Cheese quota tariff.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
But his answer even is better than what I would have come up with in that moment, which would have been try to address that specific claim as the fact check does. He's absolutely right that is a targeted tariff and not the universal nation-based ones that the Supreme Court just declared unconstitutional, which is what
tariffs you should support.
Parker had said earlier was the thing that he disagreed with. And it's just the contrast with him bringing out all these statistics that then get completely backed up by the fact check, and Dave just waiting around in Trump speak about how we're getting ripped off. I mean, it couldn't be more obvious who's got stuff going on in their brains.
I think there are several countries that
Name
did.
one.
I think there are several countries
Name
that
one.
did. Honestly, I'm not sure, but I think there are several countries that did.
Okay, so why are we
that
placing universal?
that zeroed out the tariffs.
So then why don't
I
we
think
place-
Argentina did, if I'm not mistaken. I think Israel did. I think a few other countries did.
Why don't we put a proportional tariff?
I'll say Argentina, a place famous for eating beef, is at its lowest beef consumption at all time because the economy is absolutely crushed. I don't even know that it's true whatever he said about the tariffs, but I would imagine Milei probably did something with them.
Incidentally, I'm looking at 2025. Wisconsin saw an increase in Chapter 12 bankruptcies, despite the fact that the cheese quota was raised.
Yeah.
on them the same that they put on us so that we can negotiate that down. It doesn't seem like Trump's looking for that.
What do you mean?
That's
Exactly what Trump did.
Let me just clarify. The tariffs are being paid by our consumers. So Trump, while trying to get his deals, is making inflation go up and making it worse off for you at the grocery store, worse off for you at the gas pump, worse off for you when you're trying to buy a house. So can you, again, like you mentioned before, can you name one metric that Trump's made better off since he got in office?
I'm not sure the premise of what you're saying, because do you think we should just have free trade with everybody without any penalization?
I thought you were
going
like
either
libertarian.
Way?
Don't you want free trade?
No, that's what I'm saying. So, I think you're agreeing with me. What Donald Trump is trying to do
is overall decrease tariffs.
He's trying.
That's a great. The Supreme Court did more to decrease tariffs than he did.
It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah,
They're
you keep saying that.
negotiating these things.
Have we done anything in his office yet?
Yes.
What?
Yes. Scott Besson every day is negotiating with these other countries. You think that
what has Donald Trump done in the past year and a half that he's been president? I got this. Scott Bessent has been negotiating with everybody.
It's such a smart move, though, when you're getting smoked to be like, feels like we're agreeing.
Yes.
Yeah. The guy's
We just clearly don't understand anything I'm saying, and therefore we agree. You're not completely embarrassing me in front of a room full of 20 people.
Same thing. Right. You rattled off all these statistics that backed you up. All I had was the cheese example.
I made up.
And then it's just the monkey symbol clapping up there.
I think the cheese quota.
Is negotiating with these other countries.
Cheese
quota. You think that
I
he
think
can
the negotiations are worse off with the JCPOA. We have less political concessions right now than we had a decade ago under the JCPOA. So tell me, what political concessions have we got with the war with Iran since Trump started it?
Well, right now, Iran literally exports no oil. Every day they are losing $500 million. So what you can do over time is you have
pause it for 1 second. Fact check just comes in. Iran is not, quote, exporting no oil. And it is not losing $500 million a day. Recent tracker trading by the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, and others show Iran exporting roughly 1.5 to 2 million barrels a day and earning around $100 to $150 million in oil revenue per day, which, incidentally, I just want to make this clear. When you gain $100 to $150 million per day, you are not losing $500 million per day.
Correct. Those can't be the same.
I know, it's a weird dynamic. You know who is losing a ton of money, though? Our allies in the region.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Which we had 40 days, which we took out their Air Force and their entire Navy and everything else, and now we completely control their economy.
None of those were concerned. What's the political concession since the beginning of the war?
What's the political concession from Iran since the beginning of the war?
Yes, name more.
Well, we're having negotiations with them right now.
And we haven't gotten anything?
We're having negotiations with them right now.
So nothing?
Well, we're in a negotiation process.
We've been in a war for 2.5 months now. We got no political concessions.
A war for 2.5 months? How long do you think wars are supposed to take?
A decade ago, we had a limitation in terms of them enriching uranium to 3.7%. That was going to be in place until 2030. It would still be in place to this day.
We started with this. They admitted they were enriching past that point.
After the JCPOA.
Steve Witkoff said 2 or 3 days before the war started that they admitted they were enriching more.
Also, you pulled out of the agreement, and then the original strike that we made a year ago. You also have to. They haven't been building up.
You also have to go on the assumption.
The DNI.
Why is it that you believe? Why would you believe the Iranian theocratic regime? Why would you believe that they are doing right?
That's the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, appointed by Donald Trump. So explain to me why you don't believe her.
Listen, Marco Rubio. Marco, hold on.
Yeah.
He's like.
So to be clear, I mean.
God damn.
U.S. intelligence said that Iran is not close to a bomb.
I'm end my stream.
You can enrich to 60% uranium.
My internet's
you
about
can
to go
enrich
out,
uranium to 60%.
It went out earlier.
But it still doesn't mean that you have
Fucking
a bomb.
Comcast. They said they
It just means that you are close to enriching uranium to 90%, which would be bomb worthy. But that doesn't mean that you have figured out a delivery mechanism. That doesn't mean that you have a weapons program. That doesn't mean, it just means that you are trying to increase your negotiating power.
Right.
Because Donald Trump quit the deal that had a cap on the uranium. And if you do not increase how much you enrich after you are out of the deal, what's the incentive for the other side to make a deal with you.
Hello?
What do you have to give them? Oh, we were constrained in only enriching uranium to 20% under the JCPOA. And now that you canceled that deal, we're still enriching it to 20%. So let's get back into a deal. Of course not. Why would I? What are you going to give me? Well, we enriched it to 60% and we will get rid of that. I mean, this is just so dumb.
Right?
Go ahead.
That's the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, appointed by Donald Trump. So explain to me why you don't believe her.
All right, guys. Hasta mañana. Like I said, my internet's toast right now. What the fuck is happening? Keeps dipping. All right.